When I have a list, you know this video is going to be serious. Let me get into it, but first let's get it started. The valves are closed. It's pretty quiet. I have to say, these cooled seats, amazing. If you're watching this video, then my 2023 BMW M5 competition is indeed for sale, if it hasn't sold already. Marina Bay Blue with ceramic brakes, 50th anniversary of the M division, which is why you have these white emblems all over the car. Before I go over the list, a very extensive list of the reasons why I'm selling it, I'm going to quickly do a rundown of all the mods that I've done to the car to make it one of the most special BMW M5s out there. Starting from the front, it is fully protected with PPF, including the lip. I also have PPF on the carbon fiber roof. You can also notice this CS very high quality carbon fiber kit that is in the front on the side skirts. Right there, and also the rear diffuser. On the left and the right side of the diffuser, I've got my Valvetronic titanium exhaust that is valve controlled, and it also has a set of downpipes, a catted primary and a catless secondary. One party trick under the hood that I didn't mention is the fact that the car's ECUs have been unlocked, which allowed me to tune it to the tune of 700, nearly 700 wheel horsepower. We did it over at Keys, put it on the dyno. It's been custom tuned to the tune of nearly 700 horsepower. This Marina Bay Blue color pops, and it also pops because it looks the part because it's been lowered on H&R 550 springs. In the front, we also are sporting TLG guards to protect the sides of this precious investment. On the inside, there's not much to see except this beautiful LCI steering wheel that I've recently retrofitted. You've got the M stitching here, perforated leather here, and that blue stripe up top. Not to mention the carbon fiber trim. I also have a dash cam that is fully hardwired. There's one in the front, and we also ran a cable that is also in the back. Speaking of the back, this is my child seat, and my other child no longer needs anything. Oh, and here I've got my trusted latest generation Uniden mounted on this clip. Anything I'm listing here, if you're interested, I'm also going to put in the description. Right here, I put my Valvetronic valve controller to get it out of the way. This is how it usually comes, but if you take it apart, there's a couple of screws here. You can actually remove this silly metal ring, and you can use double-sided tape to stick it here. This is to open the valves, this is to close. Pretty simple. Yes, I know you can use the garage opener, but I have 3 garage doors, so I actually do use these. But now let's talk about the list of reasons why I'm selling this car. If any of those reasons resonate with you, think about it if you're considering a car like this. When I first bought the car, I bought it with the idea of it being a family trip vehicle, and it has been. We took it on many trips with the kids. We took it on winter trips. I took it snowboarding. I put a roof box on it. So we drove a lot with the kids, and it's a great car if you're looking for something like this, except you do make a lot of compromises because it still is a sedan, so space is limited. But the biggest drawback of having a family car like this is you will never use its full potential when you're driving with the family, because you want to keep your family safe. So there's no way you're going to accelerate hard. There's no way you're going to take turns really sharply. There's no way you're going to erase anybody on the highway. Not that I've ever done it, but you know what I mean? You're always going to drive calmly with the family. So it really defeats the purpose of a family car. But yeah, of course, I could drive it by myself, and I have been driving it by myself. But in my case, and this is just me, I also have my 911, which is a better car to drive by yourself because it is technically a 4-seater, but the 4 seats are not that comfortable. So I still take my kids in here. We go on shorter trips, but when I do drive to the office, to the train station and all of that, I found myself taking the 911 more often than I did the M5. This point might resonate with some of you, but if you have a family, the main thing you want to do is you want to provide for your family. One of the things that you do when it comes to providing is provide yourself. Make sure you stay alive. And every time when I drove this car, and I still do drive it, I worry about myself and doing something stupid. Yes, it's got all-wheel drive. You could put in rear-wheel drive, which I almost never do. But the car is so fast and you can do so many stupid things so easily that I was beginning to worry about myself. There were days where I would drive home from work and I would have some fun, and then I would pull up to the garage and ask myself, holy crap, what have you just done? Why did you do this? I'm not gonna go into specifics, but you can imagine, but in the blink of an eye, you can go into triple digits, and that is very unsafe for you, and that is very unsafe for others on the road. And I guess I'm so old now where I think about these things, and I do want to be in control of my destiny, which in this case, I am controlling myself and preventing myself from doing something stupid in this amazing machine. When you get an M5, it comes nicely equipped from the factory, but it doesn't necessarily look the part. If you're a car enthusiast, the chances are you will want to modify it to make it stand out and look the part. One of the things you're going to do is you're going to lower it, you're going to put some maybe carbon bits on it, you're going to make it a little bit more uncomfortable, which means it's going to be less comfortable for the occupants and less comfortable for the family. So it's sort of a catch-22, if you catch my drift. You buy an M5 because it's the ultimate driving machine sedan, but you have to modify it to make it special. But when you modify it, it becomes less practical as a family vehicle. So you cannot use it for its intended purpose, but then you don't want to unmodify it because it's not going to look special and it's just going to look like a very boring sedan. So what do? The answer is get a 911. And when you do all this work to the car, you're really proud of what you've accomplished, how you've made it unique, but at the same time, you've made it too nice. So every time you take your car somewhere, you don't want to park it in the middle of a parking lot because it's going to get dinged. So you have to park it on the outside. You also don't want to take it into Manhattan, in my case, because it's going to get dinged up, it's going to get scratched. So you take another car. You really end up not wanting to take this car any place where it stands out unprotected. And that's a problem. Something that I didn't think would bug me, but it really does, is the car's poor miles to the gallon. When you do have a lot of fun driving it, you get about 6, 8, maybe 10 miles to the gallon. And I'm fortunate enough to not necessarily care about how much money I'm paying at the pump, but the way I was brought up is I really do care about it. So subconsciously, it bugs me. It bugs me so much that when we do drive with the family, I end up hypermiling it to see how many miles per gallon I can get, how good I can be. And a lot of times we do get 25, 26. One time, I kid you not, driving from my house to the airport, I got 30 miles to the gallon, but I was driving like a grandma, so it is possible. But at the same time, why would I need a performance sedan to hypermile it? It seems like a waste. When I drive with my family, I waste it. When I drive by myself, I feel bad doing these pulls. Because at the end of the day, what's the point? I mean, it is a lot of fun. It is quite a lot of fun. But then, you end up at a place like this, which is a gas station. So, sounds great, feels great, pulls really hard, but at the end of the day, I'm just not a V8 fan, I've realized, for a couple of reasons. One, the red line is not necessarily as high, 6500 red line or 7500, but you don't necessarily want to rev it because most of the power is down low. And it's great for daily driving down low, but then you get into the fuel economy discussion. So I am much more comfortable driving my Boxster 6, a 4-cylinder, even electric. I just think a V8 nowadays, call me crazy, but it's a bit of a waste. I do have to conclude this video with one biggest point, and the reason why I'm really selling this car is the fact that I want to simplify my life. I have one car that I really care about, which is the 911. I also have this car that I really care about, that is the M5, and I simply cannot have two personal cars that I really care about. Yes, I can take it on snowboarding trips, and as I mentioned earlier, I have, and it's a lot of fun, but it's always in the back of your mind. Oh, is someone parking too close to me? Is someone gonna scratch it? Oh, if I get too close to it, will it get scratched? I'm crazy like this. I don't want my nice things to look bad, so it always stresses you out. I don't want things stressing me out. Also, maintaining two high-end vehicles, as much fun as it is, it's still a pain in the neck. So in the spirit of simplifying my life, I mean, look at all these famous people. I'm not famous, obviously, but what struck me the other day, Jeremy Clarkson drove all these cars throughout his whole life. Now, when he's older and wiser, he lives on a farm, drives an older Range Rover and an older Jag. Which brings me to my other point. When I do sell this car, I actually do have something more utilitarian coming, which is going to be so cool. I can't wait to share it with you. But at the same time, I am going to be looking for an older BMW. I'll tell you why. Because I still want to have a dedicated track car. But that's a car that I don't necessarily have to care about. So it's going to have to be something maybe rough around the edges. But there are two cars that I'm considering. An F82 M4, probably with dual clutch. As much as I like the manual, I think dual clutch on those cars is better. Or an F87 M2 competition. One of those cars will most likely end up in my stable early next year. But this year, soon, there's going to be something fun, utilitarian, and something that really makes sense in my life at the moment. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. I am doing it for myself, but I am also enjoying sharing my experiences of my car journeys with you. So I really appreciate all of you taking the time to watch my geeky videos, because it really helps me kind of get all of these things out of my mind. But anyways, this is what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to thank you very much for watching. Really curious in this one what you have to say. So comment below. I'll address every single comment. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. I'm not going anywhere. This is just another step in this TLG journey. Thanks for watching. Bye.